And developing tonight, human remains are found near a Candler home.
Buncombe County deputies spent the day investigating on Beady-Eyed Lane near Pisgah Highway. News 13's Samir Nefsi has what we know so far.
There are more questions than answers as detectives with the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office scoured for hours up there at that top mobile home. Now, they say they were tipped off after the current renters reached out saying that they found something suspicious, which then led investigators to the discovery of human remains that were in advanced stages of decomposition. For hours, members of the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office searched inside and outside of this home. Crime scene tape surrounded the property on Beady-Eyed Lane, and multiple investigative units with the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office were there collecting and analyzing evidence at the B&D MHP complex. According to Major Don Ledford, around 4 o'clock they received a call about a suspicious item found by the current renters. Detectives later found human remains on the exterior of the home. Our cameras captured the moments those remains were carried to an EMS truck. You can see a box wrapped in what appears to be a black garbage bag. Interesting to note, this isn't the first time investigators have been to that area. Back in December of 2020, a man was charged with concealing a death. Ledford says it's unclear if that is connected to this case. The remains have been taken to the medical examiner's office where an autopsy is scheduled to be performed. Meantime, investigators have issued a search warrant for the property.
Now, the discovery of human remains at a Candler mobile home has raised many eyebrows after Buncombe County investigators say it could have a possible connection to a couple charged with concealing a death. Now, a neighbor of the missing Buncombe County woman hopes this can finally provide answers. News 13's Samir Nefsi has the latest on this development after breaking the story earlier this week.
At the center of this story is a mobile home on Beady-Eyed Lane. On Thursday, human remains were found at the location. Now, a former neighbor of 92-year-old Nellie Sullivan believes those remains could hold answers to what happened to her. This, however, isn't the first time investigators have been to the Beady-Eyed Lane location. In December of 2020, Mark Barnes and Angela Wamsley lived there when they were charged with concealing the death of Wamsley's grandmother, who just happened to be Nellie Sullivan.
It bothers me really bad. I want to know what happened to her.
For 2 years, Belinda Moody has been left with questions surrounding her 92-year-old neighbor, Nellie Sullivan.
She was a sweet little old lady. She'd give you the clothes off her back if she could.
As Moody holds on to memories of Sullivan, the discovery of human remains leaves her hopeful justice will prevail.
I hope they find this as her body and find out more information of what really happened to her.
In December of 2020, Sullivan's granddaughter, Angela Wamsley, and Mark Barnes were charged with concealing the death of Sullivan. They listed this mobile home, 11 Beady-Eyed Lane, as their address when arrested. Investigators with the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office would turn back up at the property on Thursday, April 14th, after new renters found a suspicious item. Major John Ledford with the Sheriff's Office would not release specifics other than the remains were found outside. When on scene, we noticed what appears to be a box wrapped in a black garbage bag that was taken away by EMS. In the 2 years following the arrest of Wamsley and Barnes, Moody remains hopeful her friend's mystery will come to an end.
I just hope that this is her and her body can be put at rest for our sake and everybody else's.
Investigators say they're aware of the property but have not yet confirmed if this is linked to the 2020 case. Barnes and Wamsley lived previously with Sullivan on Mint Lane in West Asheville and later moved out. Moody says that's when Sullivan seemingly vanished in 2018.
It makes me wonder where she's been all this time and why Mark and Angie would have done something like this to that woman.
Both Barnes and Wamsley remain in jail facing multiple charges. Barnes has been charged with stealing more than $100,000 from Sullivan's bank account. As light emerges through the cracks, the secrets of this nearly 2-year investigation could soon be unearthed.
She was like a grandmother to me and my daughter and my husband. She really was. And I would have done anything for that woman.
An autopsy has been scheduled for those remains, with a search warrant also issued for the Beady-Eyed Lane property for both inside and outside of that mobile home.
New information tonight in the discovery of human remains at a mobile home in Candler.
News 13's Kimberly King reports investigators were there in 2020 after a man and his wife were charged with concealing the death of the wife's grandmother.
A neighbor counted 11 marked and unmarked Buncombe County Sheriff's cars here at the trailer behind me once the body was found. Now, we were here in December of 2020 as investigators searched for the body of 92-year-old Nellie Sullivan, whose adult granddaughter had lived at this trailer with her husband. Both of them had been charged with concealing Nellie Sullivan's death. This was video of the trailer yesterday when deputies found the severely decomposed remains. Our WLOS crew saw some type of bin that was covered with plastic removed and transported from the scene. Now, 2 years ago, Mark Allen Barnes and his wife, Angela Walmsley, were arrested, and they lived at this same trailer. Barnes was 49 at the time, and Angela Walmsley were both charged with concealing the death of Nellie Sullivan and burying her remains in a shallow grave. But sheriff's investigators never found Nellie's body. Angela Walmsley also had charges in a separate investigation, but authorities said back then that they believed she had information about her grandmother and how she had gone missing. The couple had lived with Nellie Sullivan at a different Candler home when neighbors told News 13 that Nellie one day had mysteriously disappeared, and then Walmsley and Mark Barnes, they said, moved out. The sheriff's department has reported that the renters here called saying that they had found some type of suspicious item, which led to investigators finding the human remains. We could not reach the sheriff's department today to ask about any possible connection to 92-year-old Nellie Sullivan's case, who we know had been missing for many years since 2020 when this case was first investigated.